Are Emily Blunt and John Krasinski heading towards divorce? According to the internet, they are. And it's all because of something that happened at the Golden Globes while they were on the red carpet. In response to a viral video of the two of them whispering to each other while posing for photos, a number of amateur lip readers have started speculating about what John said to his wife. The theories are divided over whether he made an innocuous comment about the weather or if he was joking about marital trouble. Under that viral video, someone wrote, "I've watched this 500 times trying to convince myself he said something other than divorce," while others pointed out that the couple of 14 years were more likely making a remark about the chilly weather, and John was saying, "I can't wait to get indoors." One TikTok user wrote, "Did he say I can't wait to divorce?" And she said, "Hey," and he stated, "I'm serious." Another person swears John said divorce, but wants him to be saying, "Let's just get through this." Others pointed out that any mention of divorce could simply be a joke between the couple. They wrote, "He said divorce," but perhaps that's their brand of humor or flirting. Even if he did say that, maybe it was just a joke between them that went over all of our heads. Seems like the kind of joke he would make. Others pointed out the obvious. They said it kind of does look like he's saying it as a joke. Emily says something first, so maybe he was just joking back. And why would he say divorce with all those cameras and microphones on them? Another theory from fans is that the pair were talking about the very windy weather. One person claimed Emily said, "It's actually kind of chilly right now," and he supposedly replied saying, "I can't wait to get indoors." Backing up the cold weather theory, many fans pointed to the fact that Emily was later seen wearing her husband's jacket, so that seems more than likely. The pair who tied the knot in 2010 have two daughters, 9-year-old Hazel and 7-year-old Violet. Despite appearing in numerous projects in 2023, Emily recently revealed that she made the decision to step away from the camera this year in order to focus on motherhood. She explained her decision on the Table for Two podcast, saying, "This year I'm not working. I've worked quite a bit for the last year and my oldest baby is 9, so we're in the last year of single digits. I just feel like there are cornerstones to their day that are so important when they're little, and it's will you wake me up, will you take me to school, will you pick me up, will you put me to bed." Emily explained that she just needs to be there for all of them for a good stretch, and she just felt that way in her bones. The actors first met at an LA restaurant back in 2008, and they wed 2 years later. John admitted on the Ellen DeGeneres show in 2011 that he wasn't really looking for a relationship when he first came to LA, but Emily quickly changed his mind. He said, "When I met her, I was so nervous. I was like, oh my god, I think I'm going to fall in love with her." It was one of those things where as soon as you meet someone, you kind of know. Although the pair hadn't met yet, he became a fan of his future wife when The Devil Wears Prada premiered in June of 2006. He later admitted to her that he watched it on repeat over 70 times to be exact. In a 2016 interview with Glamour, the actor recalled how after the couple had been dating for a bit, Emily asked him if he'd ever seen the movie, which is when he admitted that he watched it like 70 times. And he said he's lucky enough that she stayed with him after that and didn't realize that she had really married her stalker. During a night out in LA, the pair first met through a friend. John had been sitting with actor Justin Theroux before spotting their mutual friend and making his way over to the table. She said, "I was in a restaurant, he was in the restaurant. I was sitting with a mutual friend and my friend Gray goes, 'Oh my god, that's my friend John.' And that was it. He was sitting with our friend Justin Theroux and he abandoned Justin and came over to us. He just stood there and made us laugh. The rest is history." These days, the couple seem to be happier than ever. Over the years, John has showered his wife with plenty of praise in interviews. He said, "I wouldn't be anywhere in my life without her. As a dad, she pushes me to be better every single day at everything I do." He said that he looks forward to the next day because he knows that it'll be better than the one before. Back in 2016, he told Entertainment Tonight that Emily is someone that you just have to pinch yourself with, that you even get to be around her, let alone married to her. Quote, "I don't know who meets Emily and doesn't hope that you get to become her husband." So that was pretty immediate for me. But also my parents have been happily married for many, many years and truly feel like they're more in love today than they were the day they met. Still, at the same time, he admitted that marriage can be challenging. He said, "Marriage has always been an incredibly sacred thing that you're hoping gets to come your way and something where you get to share happiness with someone else. So I've always respected the idea of marriage and wanted to get married," though he admitted that yes, it is tough. Quote, "It's a big commitment and it's hard to look at these different people through that lens because it's an intense lens to put anybody under." So of course, just like with any marriage, it's not always going to be perfect, and that's a given. With John and Emily though, it's clear that people are jumping to conclusions once again. To be fair, sometimes the internet is correct and they can actually predict which Hollywood couples are having marriage trouble. For example, it's easy to see when Ben Affleck and Jennifer Lopez are having an argument because it's always on camera. A few months ago, the couple hit the red carpet at the premiere for JLo JLo's movie The Mother. Jennifer looked amazing on the red carpet, wearing a sparkling sequin-covered beige crop top with a matching skirt and blazer. The two of them posed for several smiling pictures together that turned out great. But a video of that moment told a different story. Right away you could tell that they were both upset at something. Jennifer was frowning and making some dramatic gestures to Ben, who also looked angry. At one point they were locked into a very tense conversation. But when their pictures were taken, they completely changed their body language. Then all of a sudden they were smiling and happy when the cameras were on them. Of course, they just wanted to get some nice photos, but fans couldn't help but wonder what they were actually discussing. Whatever it was, it seemed to put Ben in a very bad mood. And the crazy thing is, we've seen so many of these awkward moments between them, so this is just the beginning. Another incident occurred shortly after Jennifer's Today interview, when the couple were filmed having what looked like a tense argument at the premiere for her movie Shotgun Wedding. In a clip that quickly went viral on TikTok, JLo appears to taste Ben's drink and then looks at him sternly. She seems visibly fed up with her husband as he tries to defend himself and repeatedly says, "Jen." He could also be seen yelling over the music that he did not drink anything. It was theorized at the time that Ben was insisting that he hasn't been drinking alcohol and that Jen was tasting his drink to check in the video. Ben has been very open about his recovery from alcoholism and the fact that he's been to rehab multiple times over the years, in 2001, 2017, and 2018. That video was viewed around 2 million times, but surprisingly, most people seem to think that Jennifer was the one who was being unsupportive of his struggle. Someone wrote, "They just seem exhausting. This marriage will never see 18 months. Another person commented, "It just looks like she doesn't trust him. Picked up the drink to taste it. He's clearly upset," and there seems to be a lot of truth to that. Now, we also have to mention last year's Grammys. Things seemed to get awkward between the couple when they were filmed at the event. Someone posted a video of them on Twitter sitting together, and they wrote, "However of a bad day you're having, I promise you're not as miserable as Ben Affleck at the Grammys." It's true that whatever he was feeling at that ceremony, he simply looked miserable and like he would just rather be anywhere else. Next to him, JLo was clapping happily and a lot more focused on what was going on stage than how her partner was feeling. As expected, the comments under the video were pretty brutal. Someone wrote, "He could be at home baking with Jennifer Garner, and instead he's looking around for the emergency exits for a quick getaway." In another awkward video from the event, the couple were captured having an intense argument, but they seemed like they were trying to play it off for the cameras. In the clip, Ben can be seen leaning over to whisper something in Jennifer's ear, only for her to whip her head around and sternly say something to him. She then puts her hand to her chest and appears to tell him to sit up straight as he immediately adjusts his posture. But we all saw what really happened. Then a few months ago, the couple once again went viral on social media for, you guessed it, fighting in public. This time Ben was seen slamming the car door in Jennifer's face while they were running errands in Santa Monica. Video captured of that moment shows him looking upset while walking to his car. He's clearly upset, but he still opens the door for Jennifer so she can get in. But once she's inside, he pretty much slams it shut. And when that moment was shared on Twitter, everyone started guessing why he was so angry. Was it because they had gotten into an argument before that, or was it something else? One person wrote, "Maybe he's just irritated because someone is recording him. I imagine that would get very old." Another person wrote, "I'm sure he's just annoyed at people pointing their phones at them while they are trying to do normal stuff. Considering that JLo and Ben are one of the most recognizable people in the world, there is bound to be paparazzi following them around all day. So it's really no wonder that he feels so frustrated. And maybe that's why he was in such a dark mood." Whatever the case may be, fans have not stopped pointing to cracks in their relationship, which may or may not exist. And since no one knows what's really going on inside their marriage.
At number 10, we have leaked marriage issues. Unfortunately, some people will do anything for a check, including leaking private information between a couple. I mean, if we're talking a couple million, I kinda understand. I'm just joking, but one person who wasn't was the Beckham's former nanny. Abby Gibson, who was the couple's former nanny, revealed to the press the alleged arguments and private relationship information. A 7-page report was actually published by News of the World revealing all of Gibson's allegations surrounding the couple's arguments. One particular morning, she claims to have heard David call Victoria a flipping beach, if you know what I mean. And at the time of this argument, Victoria was 7 months pregnant with their son Cruz and claims David was threatening to split with his wife, but she was pleading with him to try and wait until the birth of their third child. I don't know where they found this nanny, but clearly it was not working out. In 2009, the couple decided to take legal action against their former nanny Gibson, and it was revealed how much she actually got for leaking this information. She received 125,000 euros from the press, but I guess when you play stupid games, you win stupid prizes because she was now facing legal issues due to breach of confidence. Well, Beckhams, if you're looking for a nanny, I have zero experience, but I can keep things a secret except for my mom. For number 9, we have insecurities. Back when this whole nanny situation was going down, Gibson, who was her former nanny, alleged that Victoria was insecure about herself while being pregnant because she was constantly comparing herself to younger women. Don't worry, Victoria, as long as you're not with Leonardo DiCaprio, age is just a number. Victoria also literally aged like fine wine, and it is definitely upsetting to see someone like her not feel confident in herself, especially with all the media attention that constantly puts women against each other, comparing their looks and tearing them apart. Everyone has insecurities, but it definitely doesn't help when someone you once trusted and welcomed into your home like a nanny to be the one sharing with the tabloids about your inner feelings. I mean, just look at Victoria. I can tell you that David has great taste. And for our number 8 spot, we have the 2010 cheating scandal. Back in 2010, TMZ posted an article that was sure to capture the attention of some. Although the title is a little too graphic to share on here, I will try to reword it as the headlines were about David denying his involvement with a woman that some may give money to in exchange of some adult stuff. However, Beckham denied all these claims and even took this case to court. As you should, King. So who did he end up suing? It was revealed Irma Nikki and the publishers of In Touch Weekly who ran the story were the ones to face a heavy $25 million lawsuit. I could work every day for the rest of my life and still not be able to afford that, unless I sell 1 or 2,000 kidneys. Beckham swore under oath he has never had involvement with the so-called business women, and revealed all these claims she had against him, and revealed all the claims she said about him were false. That included involvement with 2 women and numerous claims Nikki made about having spent some special time with David. What makes this hilarious is David even said that he's never met Nikki before. I don't know if this girl dreamt about this or what, but that is one expensive dream. In our number 7 spot, we have Resentment. In the docuseries that was recently released on Netflix titled Beckham, Victoria spoke up about the feelings she had towards her husband David during this difficult time in their marriage. And this was actually the first time she publicly spoke about the cheating scandals. After all the scandals, she felt resentment against him but kept all her feelings inside in order to keep supporting his soccer career, as she kept in mind the attention and focus her husband needed at that point. In fact, she internalized all the trauma in order to put her husband and his career before her own mental well-being. She even added by saying this was the hardest time for the couple. Victoria stated, "It was the hardest period because it felt like the world was against us. Here's the thing, we were against each other if I'm being completely honest. As much as you want to ignore the media and fully trust your husband, I'm sure it's difficult to keep your mind from wandering to what ifs, as it is something she was worried about and clearly affecting her mental health." And in our number 6 spot, we have the alleged cheating with an assistant. Now, who would even come out with this story? No one else but their former nanny, Abby Gibson, of course. In 2003, David was pictured leaving a club with a mystery woman in Spain, and that same woman is the one Gibson accused David of cheating with. That was Rebecca Luce, who was their personal assistant. According to Gibson, Victoria has talked to her about her attempts with getting David to admit if anything ever happened between the two and pleaded with him to tell her the truth about Rebecca. Victoria allegedly said, "Just tell me, did it happen?" Which David responded with, "No, it didn't." We all know what happened to this nanny, as she did face legal issues in the upcoming years. Rebecca has even made several media appearances following the scandal and apparently made over €1 million for all her interviews about the Beckhams. She has even been on Celebrity Love Island, Extreme Celebrity Detox, and the X Factor Battle of the Stars. You know the meme with the house fire in the background and the kid just smiling in front of it? That's how I picture Rebecca to have felt during this time. We have made it halfway with number 5, which is media pressure. I'm not a celebrity and I feel pressure from the media to look and act a certain way, but Victoria and David are in the eyes of millions, which makes it that much more difficult to escape it. Well, during one of their many cheating scandals, which this time was surrounding their former assistant, Rebecca Luce, she claimed to have been involved with David during a 4-month period. This all happened after David switched from playing for Manchester United to Real Madrid in 2003 after signing a 4-year contract with this team. Not only did he transfer teams, but that also meant he had to relocate to Spain while his wife and kids were located in the UK. Once the two were spotted leaving the club, Rebecca went public with these allegations by sharing it with News of the World, which she received €350,000 for her tell-all. Oh my gosh, is this a sign to start my own scandal because I could finally buy my dog a Halloween outfit. Victoria talked about this time in the docuseries by stating, "Up until Madrid, sometimes it felt like us against everybody else, but we were together, we were connected, we had each other. But when we were in Spain, it didn't really feel like we had each other either, and that's sad." And in an attempt to work through all these allegations, Victoria relocated to Spain with her children. She described this whole moment by saying it felt like it was an absolute circus. It's really entertaining when the circus comes to town, right? Unless you're in it. It seemed like the two couldn't get away from the press as people they once let into their homes, like their nanny and assistant, have run with these stories straight towards the media and collected their check because of it. And for number 4, we have intense conflict. It is not often we see celebrities discuss conflict with their partners. Well, if we ever do hear about them, it is through a very public and chaotic way, just like the Tiger Woods cheating scandal that led him to crash his car after his wife chased him out. During the docuseries, the two are able to talk about their past bumps in their relationship without crashing each other's cars. The two discuss the cheating allegations, with David saying there was some horrible stories that was difficult to deal with, and this was after he transferred teams, which they admitted was the first time their relationship was put under that kind of pressure. Victoria opened up about her feelings during this time, and when the interviewer asked if that was the hardest part in their marriage, she responded with 100%. "It was the hardest period for us because it felt like the world was against us, we were against each other, if I'm being completely honest." And before the transfer happened, she believed it felt like them against everybody else, but they were together and were connected. But once David relocated to Spain, it felt like the connection was broken. She added, "When we were in Spain, it didn't really feel like we had each other either, and that's sad. I can't even begin to tell you how hard it was and how it affected me." For our number 3, we have privacy. Although we talked about the media frenzy earlier, the two explained how bad the situation really was when they lived in Spain. Victoria stated in the docuseries, "It felt like a nightmare. From the minute we opened the door in the morning, the press were there in cars and everywhere we went. We would get followed." The two even admitted they had no idea how they survived all of these issues because it was that intense. Their kids were actually faced with tabloids as well because during their morning commutes to their primary school, it was blown up into a whole frenzy with people shouting rude comments at their son Brooklyn about his parents. The couple has even shared the difficulties they faced when moving to a new country, as it felt disorienting as they didn't speak Spanish, which makes it that much harder to adapt. David referred to this by saying, "It felt like we were not losing each other, but drowning." In our number 2 spot, we have mental toll. It is no secret by now, the couple has faced a huge amount of media scrutiny over the years. David recounts seeing his wife Victoria upset all the time because all the attention was very difficult. He said in the docuseries, "But we were fighters, and at the time we needed to fight for each other. We needed to fight for our family." He was visibly hurt as his eyes began to tear up while saying that. David even opened up his emotions about not knowing how to act at work because he wasn't sure if he was supposed to pretend everything was okay, even though he felt physically sick every day at work during this time. In fact, Victoria admitted she resented him at the time, before adding, "It was probably, if I'm being honest, the most unhappy I've been in my entire life," which says a lot about what all this press has put people through. Yes, they are celebrities, but people often forget they are human too, and deserve every right to their own privacy as you and I. And in our number 1 spot, we have lack of support during pregnancy. Victoria was scheduled to give birth to their son Cruz in 2005, which David said he may not be able to be there because he had a photo shoot with Jennifer Lopez and Beyonce. Girl, if my man said that, I would ask him to carry a baby for 9 months and let me go do the photo shoot. Victoria remembers saying, "Are you kidding me?" to her husband while she was on bed rest about to have their baby. And obviously after these 9 long months, she went into C-section and she woke up not feeling the most beautiful, as she recalls waking up the next day and reading tabloid headlines, which read, "What will Posh say?" alongside pictures of her husband David Beckham and the 2 singers Jennifer and Beyonce. Victoria even said, "Let me tell you what Posh would say. Posh was off." Although the couple has gone through so much in their relationship that was always publicized by the press, it is refreshing to see the two discuss their difficult times and was able to make it out there alive. Well, the two are 24 years strong together, and I hope nothing but the best for the two as well as their children.
It's been a topic long discussed when it comes to the royal couple, but is it happening? And why do some think we're close to seeing these two divorce? So, what about that missing ring? Here's the thing, it's kind of weird for people to speculate about the meaning of a photo that so many people have been obsessed with exposing as a fake. Like, it's weird weird to me that some of the people who have actually come out to point out that the photo is clearly fabricated, or at least heavily altered in some way, have then also turned around to try and use it as evidence that Kate and William are getting divorced. I'm sorry. What? I know people are obsessed with the royals to the level that they'd rather spend hours theorizing about their lives than take a few moments to look in the mirror or wonder what this obsession says about themselves, but even with that knowledge, I'm still reeling over this one. So, in the famed fake Mother's Day Instagram post, here is what is happening. In terms of it being used as evidence in a different sort of way than I would have initially suspected. Kate is, in the photo, not wearing her wedding ring. What does it mean? Everyone knows that if you have a wedding ring, it can never leave your finger. If it ever leaves your finger, it means you're definitely getting divorced. Especially if a photo of you, heavily photoshopped or not, was posted to Instagram where you're not wearing it. The travesty. This isn't the first time that Kate has ditched the ring. Obviously, this one taking place in a photograph that many experts have proven has been heavily edited or is just straight up AI, doesn't really lend to credibility in terms of it being usable as evidence. But we're gonna talk about this next one. I mean, if that photo was AI, then the point becomes also completely moot. But out in the real world, where we've seen Kate at events, she has also been known to not wear her ring. Why is she not wearing her ring? And this has been something that has been going on apparently for years. So is it just that Kate sometimes, I don't know, likes to take her ring off because wearing a ring all the time is like a lot? Personal preference perhaps? Or is it a sign that the couple are headed towards divorce? If so, they may have been headed that way since 2017 when Kate was seen without her ring at consecutive events. Some have also cited the affairs of Prince William as the reason for the impending soon-to-be divorce. Some claim Kate is actually boycotting her royal duties and not appearing in public because she caught William amidst multiple affairs at once with multiple women. Infidelity is then cited as being an early warning sign that this divorce would be coming our way eventually. And perhaps the time is nigh because, you know, it's gotten worse. Although that's more speculative than anything in regards to Prince William having multiple potential affairs currently. Even the original scandal, while highly suspicious and confirmed by insiders, like many cheating scandals with the royals, was still speculative. I mean, even if we just point blank knew it happened, they'd probably still be like, never happened. Often actions speak louder than words. And while Prince William's potential affair has never been confirmed, and likely never will be confirmed, let's face it, even if there was a mountain of evidence, there are some other cues to suggest that all is not well in the marriage between him and Kate. When the two were seen together at a wedding last summer in 2023, Kate decided to spend a little longer talking to the bride than her husband, the prince, deemed acceptable. He went over and basically gestured for her to move on, a little bit rudely, some were saying, while she was in the midst of a conversation, and her response was also quite telling. How did Kate respond to this? She simply ignored him. She kissed a girl, but did she like it? Hard to say. Some have theorized that the divorce is impending because Kate is actually gay and has been MIA because she eloped and is off on a yacht right now, running away with her lesbian lover. I think that might be a stretch in terms of explaining her honestly already explained absence. After all, the royals did say she wouldn't be active as a royal until after Easter, which, while quickly approaching, has not passed yet, but I gotta say, I like how creative this theory is, and there's even some proof to back it up. A schoolmate of Kate's, Jessica Hay, did claim that she did indeed kiss Kate, although the two young women were more practicing their kissing skills for boys apparently, as sometimes girls do, but it did get quite heated for a moment there. Her schoolmate also claimed that Kate never really did show interest in girls, or boys actually for that matter, while at school, but she always apparently had a crush on Prince William. Okay, Jessica. If Kate is gay, and right now that is likely a big if to be fair, then could it be possible that she is the one cheating? And that is in part what is ending her relationship with the prince and will lead them to divorce. I believe, honestly, this could be possible based on the fact I feel like we're kind of overdue for a royal to be revealed as queer, and the fact that I think Rose Hanbury, who was dismissed from the castle after allegedly having an affair with the prince while also being close friends with Kate, could have instead been let go because she was having an affair with not William, but instead with Kate. The recent coronation was another moment when it seemed as though true feelings between this couple were exposed. For one thing, the whole family supposedly arrived late, and when they did get there, people complained that they looked flustered. However, if they were flustered because they were late, that also makes sense as an alternative explanation. Many people went over to Twitter though to share photos of the couple and family ascending the stairs at Westminster Abbey and commenting on how miserable they all looked. For some, this is another instance where they feel the sham of the royal couple's happy family life is being revealed. Could also be that they were late and it was raining, but Who's to say? Back to the ring one more time. So while the absence of it in the Instagram post feels somewhat less off to me when you consider the photo is likely not even completely real or possibly is entirely fake, to others, it makes things actually worse somehow. Some have said the fact that the photo was deliberately tampered with, likely heavily edited, and yet the ring was not added back in is more of a statement than if it had just been organically missing in the first place, and this had been more of a raw photo. After all, if you are going to edit or revise a photo that much, why not just add the ring in post? With the amount of editing that experts are saying was likely done here, it actually seems more odd that Kate or William or whoever was really behind the post chose to leave it out. And if this was a deliberate choice made by Kate herself, that also seems fairly telling as to where her mind is at. Or she just doesn't like to wear rings. I don't know. Proof of rebellion. Could this be a reason for or proof of the fact that Kate Middleton and Prince William are getting divorced? There are many online who say that Kate not being in the public eye right now and abstaining from her duties as a royal is a specific choice she is actually making to symbolize her rebellion against the system and against the crown, a system which she is fed up with and is simply waiting in the wings to expose. So here's the thing. Other than her absence, we don't have a lot of evidence to really point to this. And based on what we do know, or rather think we know, of Kate's personality, it also seems highly unlikely. Not just that Kate would be rebelling against the royals, a family and system she actually chose to marry into and may have idolized for a long time if we're to believe what is said about young Kate fawning over Prince William, I'm looking at you, Jessica, but also in regards to the idea of her rebelling and abstaining from duties as a sign of her getting divorced. Kate seems to be more of a go with the flow type who at one point, when asked who she was by a child at an event, actually answered that she was William's wife. I think that response very much sums up how Kate sees herself, or at the very least sees her role. It's weird also that someone would be like, who are you? And you'd be like, I'm married to that guy. That's who I am. I think that tells you that she kind of knows where she's at. Still, some see a seething fury in Kate Middleton that is bubbling just beneath the surface when they look at her. Another telling time that people refer to in regards to the tension between the couple comes from 2017, when they were at Queen Elizabeth II's birthday. During this royal celebration, the two did not look particularly comfortable or happy apparently. In fact, Kate looked downright furious, with some having claimed, including body language experts, that the entire time she just seemed to be like seething and really mad at William, who didn't really have a lot of anger but just seemed like he was like, oh, this is really awkward.